Once again, from the international headquarters of the Neo Film Studios in beautiful Baja Tustin, I'm here today to talk about exchange. Exchange takes place all over the world among billions of human beings every day, and has since people were tribal and nomadic, hunter-gatherer types. Anyway, why do people exchange with each other? And the answer is, it makes them wealthier. The reason is that when people exchange with each other, if it is both voluntary and informed, coerced exchanges will not make both parties better off, and if there's a serious information problem, it may well be that both will not be better off. But generally speaking, people do not exchange things of equal value. Or, worse yet, from each person's point of view, they each give up something of lesser value for something of greater value. They will only make the exchange if that happens. In other words, from my point of view, I would only exchange whatever you're going to give me. I would only exchange this if I value what you have more than I value this thing. And from your point of view, you would only give up this thing if you valued my marker more. So we describe wealth as things of value. And so, if I have something after the exchange that I value more, and you have something after the exchange that you value more, then wealth has been created. Even though no new thing has been created, just by putting it into places where people value it more, you create wealth. So, people talk as if wealth is a zero-sum game. That is, in order for me to be better off after an exchange, you have to be worse off. This is not the case. If it's both voluntary and informed, we each give up something of lesser value for something of greater value. Let me explain better what a zero-sum game is. A zero-sum game means, in order for one person to win, someone else has to lose an equal amount. That there are winners and losers in a zero-sum game. The easiest example is poker. If four people sit down to play poker, and at the end of the evening, the one person gets up and say, I won $80, and the next one says, I won $30, and the other one says, well, I broke even. What happened to the fourth person? Well, what happened? Wake up. What happened?
Yeah, sorry. He's in the red.
How much? $111. 110, sorry. Now, do you understand? In order for one person to win, somebody else has to lose that amount. And so the sum of the winnings in a zero-sum game is zero. Now, is exchange that? No. With exchange, it's a positive-sum game. There are winners and winners, and both can be better off by participating in the exchange than if they had not participated. So, equal values, things of equal value are not exchanged. There's no point to it. You only exchange if it makes you better off. Now, there's this big issue of voluntariness. You know, if the exchange is coerced, then no, like your money for your life, both parties are not going to be better off. The draft doesn't make both parties better off. And information is a tricky one, because it turns out that information is a scarce good and it is costly to acquire. Information is produced, and there is no such thing as perfect information. So every time you make an exchange, if you want to make the exchange for these things, right on top of that exchange is the decision about how much information to get about the exchange. So that, there's a famous story, I'm making it famous, about my sister who schweened me with the Roseville vase. She came to my house, there was a stupid ugly vase sitting in a cupboard someplace, and she said, nice vase. And I said, you like it? And she said, oh yeah. And I said, well, isn't it your birthday in a week or something? And she goes, yeah. And I said, well, happy birthday. And I felt wealthier because I got rid of that old ugly vase, and I didn't have the obligation to buy her a present. And she seemed very happy with what I'd given her, and so we were both wealthy. Then I go to her house and I find out that this vase is sitting prominently on her mantelpiece, and she says, you mean my Roseville? And I said, Roseville, what's that? And she said, well, it's a very rare and expensive vase. Thank you. Did I feel wealthier? Huh? Was I wealthier? Huh?
You.
Was I scammed? Yes. Did she take advantage of my ignorance? Yes. Did she know? Yes. Did she know I didn't know? Yes. So, how could I have protected myself? Would it have been very costly for me to go look at pictures of old ugly things for days and say, is this it? Is this it? Is this it? Anyway, we normally have to make a decision about information before we make an exchange. And to do this, we compare the marginal benefits of additional information to the marginal costs of additional information. And as long as the marginal benefits of getting more information outweigh the marginal costs, then you would continue to get more information. But this is all a guess because you have to decide now what the likely marginal benefits or marginal costs will be, what they're likely to be. And it's only later that you find out what the real ones are. I made the decision that the marginal benefits of finding out about this old ugly vase were almost zero. And the marginal costs of getting the information weren't zero at all. And so I went and made the exchange, and I wasn't fully informed. But I have to say that most exchanges we make are quite well informed. All right, that's it. Exchange, voluntary, informed, creates wealth for both parties. Positive sum games versus zero sum games. Equal value is not exchange, things of equal value are not exchanged, and information is crucial in the whole process.